Jamie Rogers joins us with the burning questions for, it's been a funny sort of week, but hopefully you had a good Anzac Day, Jamie. We're enjoying your news.
Oh, thank you. I hope so. It's my last day. So you have Maddie back on Monday.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Yeah, so she's back in the
We're gonna
chair.
miss you.
So, yes, after her time in Bali. But anyway, let's get into it, guys, because there's a lot to get through. And as you said, TK, it has been a very interesting week in the world of sport. And we will start with an obvious one, and that is all of the things that have been coming out of the Panthers. And, you know, they are a club, boys, that always seem to be talking about where they're going, and they never seem to get there. And they're just bleeding money with all this churn. And the thing I have here is that I feel like this Panthers collapse at what we're seeing with, you know, they can't win a game. Then there's been this power struggle. Is this just showing bigger problems within the organisation?
I don't think it's helped over the last 6 months, I suppose, with Ivan going back to the club. And once Ivan was going back to the club, there was that clear divide between Phil Gould and Ivan Cleary. And obviously they weren't on the same page. They weren't working together. And there was some disharmony there. So I think players can feel that and they can sense that. Now that it's been a clean cut, everyone knows the direction they're heading in now. I feel as though Penrith are going to head in the right direction.
I think Gus has been wonderfully successful at the Penrith Panthers. There's no premiership there, but I think the board has actually made the right decision here. You can't have two bosses within the club. The players, I know they are simple by nature, but they need to answer to one commander. And that commander, they want to know who it is. They now know who it is. I think Gus is in a wonderful position because if I'm involved in a rugby league club, I'd like him to run his eye over my footy club. And I think he can just be a hired gun in the nicest possible way. If you've got some issues, he can come in, have a look. He just acts as a consultant. All businesses use consultants. There's no reason not to use
He's got to have
Gus.
the passion for doing it.
He's got to want to do it.
He's got to want to do it. And at the moment, I don't know whether he wants that responsibility. Sure. I think in 12 months' time, he may look back and...
Consultants don't have any responsibility, buddy.
Yeah, I know that. I know
They come in, they make their recommendations. Whether you do it or not, it's all up to you.
But I don't think
no responsibility.
I don't think he'd rush straight into the first job opportunity that was offered to him.
I'm not saying that.
I think he will sit back and wait. And no doubt someone will be out there looking to see what Phil Gould is going to do. They'll make some phone calls and see whether he would be available in that consultancy role. But I think now that it's all out in the open and now that he's left and now that there's one person in charge, the players know who that is, they start to turn their season around on the field.
All right, well, for a team last weekend, guys, that came in on 4 straight defeats, the Newcastle Knights, they needed to lift in that Titans clash, and the fact that they didn't do it, I feel will make it harder for Nathan Brown to convince the board and the fans that he's actually the right man for this job. I know his contract does say that making the top 8 isn't everything, but surely this performance is showing that he's probably not the right man for the role.
Oh, no, not necessarily. I think if you look at Anthony Seibold at the Broncos, he's got a better roster than Nathan Brown.
But he's only in his first year as well, though.
Yeah, and Nathan Brown had to build this club. He had to start right from the get-go and build it, and they won 2 wooden spoons. Now, I think you've got to judge Nathan at the end of the season rather than after 6 weeks. And I know supporters are frustrated, and I'll preface this by saying Nathan's a mate of mine. So I'm always going to be supporting him. But he stated himself, he needs to make the finals this year if he's to continue on, or there's signs there that they are on the improve, and he may lose a couple of his best players between now and the end of the season, and that might sort of knock them around a bit. But there's no doubt he's under pressure, and he has to deliver the results. But I think after 6 weeks, we're jumping the gun a little bit too early. Yes, I'd like to see them play a lot better. I'm expecting them to play a lot better. And I think they're a team that once they get a win after all the adversity that they've faced, I think they can, win 4 or 5 straight. And all of a sudden, they're back in the conversation of being a top 8 team.
All right. Well, on that, let's swap to a different code in the AFL. With 1 win from their opening 5 games for the Swans, is it panic stations for them? TK? Gone.
The Swans being competitive as far as making the final game, the grand final, and challenging for a flag, gone.
Yeah,
the premiership
not the
window's
same side.
over.
Not the same side.
Well, Andrew Bogut, guys, has been able to slot back into the Warriors. We've been speaking a lot about him recently. It's now prompting Americans to say, what is going on in Australia? That league must be pretty good that you've come back here in this shape and form. Are we underselling the strength of the NBL?
We're not underselling the strength of Australian basketball. I think we've got at least 11, maybe 13 playing in the NBA.
We've got a record number
13,
of Aussies over there at the moment.
Significant ones. Our pathway systems for basketball, I'll bang on about this, they're terrific. That sport has nailed the pathway systems. Their pyramid works and they get to the top, and you're only going to see more Aussies go over there, Jamie.
It's very popular. It's very popular.
Kids love it.
They do. They sit at home, they watch it, or at
Good
school
game for
they
your
probably
kids.
watch it on their phones or computers.
It's all about the NBA.
But they know every team, they know every player. They've all got the gear. And while ever you have that, tell me about it.
I've had to shell out, I think it's $135 for
You've
a
got plenty.
Ball.
NBA singlet. Mate, the Bing Tang singlet cost you $2 in Bali.
When was the last time you bought a Bing Tang singlet?
Never.
Yeah, 100%.
No, but you're right. I've even got my little 18-month-old boy. He wears his Ben Simmons jersey with a
There you
little
go.
mini basketball. He's even got a Harlem Globetrotters ball from when they were out
There
here
you go.
last 2 weekends ago.
No, you're right. The NBL, it's always been a really competitive league.
Yeah.
It's quite well respected. We've always been, the Boomers have always been strong. The Opals have always been strong. Our basketball systems are really good, Jamie. There's some of the burning questions.
That is some of the burning questions for this week.
Oh,
Thanks, guys.
Take a deep breath.
I know. And over to the news.
And now the news.